What's up, Walking Dead friends and family? It's Brian Castrillo, and I'm doing this from my car. Now, I want to apologize because I had some plans to do some character profiles for Fear the Walking Dead, but life just kind of got in the way. My son was going a little crazy, just too much work, and to some extent, maybe I was, burnt out a little bit. So I'm going to do this sort of death prediction. I have not seen episodes, the first two episodes of 7B of Fear the Walking Dead, so I have no idea what's going on. I stayed off the internet. I've been kind of a little bit quiet on that, but I want to do a quick death prediction, so I'm not going to really get into the character profiles, just maybe a little bit of what I think may happen, but mostly it's me predicting who I believe is going to survive 7B. I think we have been kind of lucky with Fear the Walking Dead. We have been ever since Madison died, and of course Nick, we've been kind of skating kind of scot-free. I mean, we lost some little characters that aren't really a big deal to the story, but I believe this is going to be a really bloody final season. And of course, I mean, we lost Dory, who is rough without a doubt. But I think overall, the Fear the Walking Dead has kind of got off kind of clean if you compare it to The Walking Dead. But let's get on this now. I'm going to speak on Althea and Isabel as kind of a one thing because, now we know that they left. Do I think they are going to survive? I do, but theirs is more, do I think they're going to go, are we going to see them again, basically? And I'm a little fuzzy on the timeline, so if I'm getting the timeline on this a little bit off, just let me know, because this is where it's a little bit confusing, because I think with Althea and Isabel, now, when we last seen them, they kind of went off on their own way. They were kind of evading the CRM who was looking for them. But I want to go back to when Isabel interviewed Madison, and she talked about Amina. Now, at that point, she had not really found Isabel at that point. So when Madison died, and as you guys know, I stuck by Madison is alive this whole time because it just did not make sense. There's no way she could have died with the fire and all them walkers, but the opportunity to escape that presented itself, and it is very plausible that she could escape that. With that being said, we see Madison in the trailer in the back end, and we hear someone say, who are you? And she says, I'm Madison. She shows the tattoos of her two children, Nick and Alicia, which I think she purposely did that to just sort of remind herself who she is, who we are dealing with. This is Madison fucking Clark, and she is back, and I cannot wait to see her. But what if that person on the intercom is actually Isabel? And that is Isabel's team, like when she was, doing her reconnaissance missions. What if that is her? That would be kind of cool. Now, of course, again, the timeline, I don't think she obviously wasn't with, Matt, or those two obviously weren't together, Althea, at that point. And we know Madison had left. When she gets caught, it has to be very close to after the fire, because she has a breathing oxygen and they're giving her, breathing supplements to help her out. Now, not many entities within the apocalypse is going to have, medical or capabilities to do that. So that's why I think she may have been caught up with the CRM, and it was probably Isabel's group. And I do believe we will see them again, so they are going to survive 7B. We may not really get much of them until maybe the end or, season 8 to figure that out. Now, Charlie, this is a big one. Now, Charlie, of course, we all know, killed Nick. And I love Nick. At that point, at that point in the story, I didn't want to lose any of the Clarks, but if I had to lose a Clark, I would have rather it been Alicia at that point instead of Nick. Nick was such a fantastic and also flawed character and he presented so many unique possibilities, and to lose him was kind of rough. He to me, he was one of the best characters at that point, no questions asked. And I mean, now I love Alicia. It turned out to be a badass, and she has been developed amazingly. Although I've been kind of missing her, we haven't seen a lot of her. But anyways, back to the question at hand. We know Nick was killed by Charlie. Charlie, of course, was a little kid. At that point, she was scared. You know, she was taken in by these people who were doing bad things. She didn't have her family anymore, but these people became her family. And she was also, in a way, kind of put under the wing of Madison at the time. You remember that conversation where she was, trying to, try and help her that this is her family now, and just trying to talk to her and make her feel, welcome, at the stadium. But a lot of people may want Charlie dead, and I get it. I mean, she took out Nick, but how is Madison going to react? Because there is no way you bring Madison back and you cannot bring up that moment in the story. That has to be addressed 100%. If they don't, then what's the point of bringing Madison back? But how is Madison going to react to that? Now, in the trailers, we do see Charlie. She seems to be getting in some sort of friendship, relationship, or whatever with someone who may be working for Victor Strand, or somebody we're not sure. But here's what I think is ultimately the important thing is when she meets Madison, what's going to happen. Now, in the beginning, when Madison first finds out about this, she is going to want blood, no doubt. I mean, that's her son. We know how close she was to Nick. I think, Alicia may stand in, but I think at the end of the day, Madison is going to understand. She is going to understand where her point of view was, how she was just a little kid. She was scared. She's going to understand what many of us seen on the screen. And while there may be a moment where it's going to look like she may kill Charlie, ultimately, she is not going to kill Charlie, and she may even take her under her wing as her own and kind of treat her as her own daughter, her own child. So I believe Charlie is going to survive. Now, Wendell. Wendell is, of course, basically the brother of Sarah, and they're very close. And we know that he is with Victor in the tower. Now, interesting that it's called the Tower, because we got the Tower Death, and that was a big moment in The Walking Dead. Victor is in the tower, so this is going to be a bloody war. This is coming, but I think Wendell. Now, we do see him get out of the tower, but I think ultimately he doesn't make it, and I think Victor may use him as a way to show that he isn't messing around. And I think ultimately Wendell is going to die. This is going to help further Sarah's storyline within the season. And so I think we are going to lose Wendell, and it's going to hurt. Now let's go to let's go with Sarah. Now, Sarah, I do believe that she's going to survive. She's going to make this through this. She is ultimately going to witness something is going to happen to Wendell, and this is going to drive her to be angry, to be hurt. The Walking Dead is not afraid of hurting us, and I think she is going to make it because of Wendell. Wendell is going to not want her to give up, and we're going to see Sarah survive. So I do believe Sarah survives. Now let's get to Luciana. Now, Luciana, of course, was Nick's girlfriend, and I have a feeling that Luciana may not make it as well. And I think there may be some tension between her and Madison. Madison may look at her as like, you were his lady. Why didn't you protect my son? I don't think Madison is ultimately going to be the one to kill her, but I think that we may lose Luciana, that's another favorite one of mine, and I would hate to lose her, but I do believe her time is up. Now let's go to Grace, played by Karen David. Now, she is an amazing character. I love the actress, but I do think we're going to lose her too. But she's going to play a pivotal role. She, of course, has a lot of knowledge of, nuclear fallout, and this is going to possibly help in what's going on with Alicia, but I think ultimately she is going to not make it, because this is going to further Morgan's story within the season. So I do believe we are going to lose Grace. Now, let's go to Howard. Howard is, Victor's right-hand man. I have a feeling that Howard is more than what we know about him. He may have some connections to the CRM. I mean, he has a lot of stuff for being one man. He has a lot of stuff where he lived. This is before Victor even got there, for being one person. He must have some sort of connection. He is doing some sort of mission that we just don't know about yet. And I think Victor realized that, and that's why he, took him in, and Victor's working with him. At the end of the day, I don't think Howard makes it. But it's going to be interesting to find out his story, and what goes on with that. Let's see, got my list here. Let's go with Sherry and Dwight. Now, I'm going to start with Sherry first. I love her story. Loved her from, The Walking Dead, coming over to Fear the Walking Dead. I do believe we are going to lose Sherry, and I think it's going to be sort of an act of sacrifice to make sure that Dwight makes it. She's going to tell him, you still have more left in this world. I think she is going to sacrifice herself in some way to help Dwight go on. And speaking of Dwight, I do believe he is going to survive. I think his story is, there's still a lot more story to tell with him that may even, permeate into The Walking Dead. So Sherry is not going to make it. Dwight will. And now let's get to Wes. Now, Wes, we saw in the... it looked like he was kind of fighting with Alicia. I think he's working for Victor in some capacity. Wes has lost a lot. He had his own brother turn on him. So he lost his brother. He lost the only family he knew. Now, he was close with Alicia, but I think he's not going to necessarily attack Alicia, but he is working for, and he's going to try and not let Alicia, basically, because Alicia wants blood, and he's going to try and stop her because he's working for Victor, and he doesn't want to see Alicia get hurt. But I don't think at this point Wes we can trust, and Wes will not make it. I don't think Alicia will hesitate if she needs to take him out. Daniel Salazar, a complete badass. We are going to get the Daniel Salazar we all remember. He is going to be back. Now, you remember in the arc with Ginny, he was just basically pretending to not know anything. He had lost his memory. It kind of went into maybe dementia or whatever. But this man is legitimate special forces. He knows how to play a role to get what he wants. Ultimately, he never trusted Victor Strand. Victor shot him in the face. And that's never going away. So I still believe that Daniel Salazar is playing a mind game with people. And we are going to see the Daniel Salazar that we all know. Daniel Salazar, he's going to be doing some badass moments, kind of like just like after he got shot in the face. That's the Daniel that we are about to get, and Daniel Salazar will survive. John Dory Sr., He of course lost his son. He just gets back to his son. He loses him. Of course, he finds June Dory, and both of them are in the tower with Victor. I think at the end of the day, by the end of the season, we do get to keep John Dory Sr. Now let's go to Morgan Jones. Now, Morgan, in my opinion, right now he has plot armor. He is one of the most badass in the entire Walking Dead universe. Morgan will survive. And in my opinion, I see him either going with the CRM, or we're going to see him traveling to get back to Virginia, basically to try and look for Rick Grimes. His story is connected to Rick Grimes. There's no way that Morgan doesn't make it out of the end of the season. Now, June Dory, you see the shirt. I believe in June. She has been an amazing character, and she has some ties to Madison as well. those two women are queens. I love both of the actresses. I love both of the characters. But she is, of course, in the tower with John Dory Sr. I think she is going to play a huge pivotal role in this season. Absolutely big. And she's going to do something very big. And that is because she is going to help save Alicia. Now, Alicia, we see her being sick, but we're going to get back to that in a second. But I think she is going to be pivotal in helping Alicia get better, because she's really the only one with any kind of medical knowledge. That being said, we all know the curse on doctors and those with medical knowledge within the Walking Dead universe. The curse is that they don't make it, and I do believe we are going to lose June Dory, and this is going to propel also John Dory Sr.'s character into something, but not before she does what she does to save Alicia. We may even see her get to work with Madison, and those two queens work together. But I think at the end of the day, by the end of the season, we are going to lose June Dory, and that is going to hurt. I do not want to lose her, but I just see that as coming. Now, one thing that I think is going to play into that is her kid that she lost. That she couldn't do anything for. I believe that is going to kind of push her character to help Alicia, so Madison doesn't lose her daughter. But I do believe somehow her child that she had lost is going to play into the storyline somehow. Now Victor Strand, what an amazing character. He's been like throughout the entire series. He sometimes you love him, sometimes you hate him. Of course, him and Madison are best friends. They are beer buddies. They love drinking together. They were very close. So when Madison comes back, how are they going to react to each other? Well, the problem for Victor is he's being an asshole right now. He's going to war with Alicia. I believe Madison and Victor are going to be at odds now. We are going to see possibly Victor getting ready to kill Alicia, possibly. And I think Madison may save the day and be the one that actually ends up taking out Victor Strand. So Victor Strand, by the end of the series, will not make it. And now Madison Clark, yes, she is fucking back. And a lot of her stuff is going to revolve around, I think we're going to see some conversations with characters that she knows and how she interacts with those that she doesn't. Now, she had a lot of respect for Daniel Salazar back and forth. We got the episode with Ophelia coming into play, and I think that is going to play on Daniel Salazar a bit, and he's going to be remembering Ophelia, but when him and Madison see each other, I think that there's that inner respect, and those are two people that I do believe trust each other. I think Daniel trusts her, but he doesn't trust many in this apocalypse, and that's why he's playing the game he is. Of course, there's a conversation with Luciana that's going to come into play. She's going to have a conversation with Charlie, and I think ultimately she's going to take her under her wings, like one of her own kids. At the end of the day, there's going to be tension. Don't get me wrong; she killed her son, but I think Madison is going to understand. She doesn't have really anything with Morgan, but I think that is going to be an interesting conversation when those two get to talk to each other, because he knows a lot that he can tell about Madison, and he may be the one that ends up telling Madison about what Victor's doing. Of course, Victor, that's going to be a huge one. But yeah, I cannot wait to see her. See what she's been up to. That scene that we saw where that's freshly after the fire. So I think possibly that may be with the CRM, possibly with Isabel's team. That may be the one telling her. But where has she been since then? I cannot wait to find out. I would love it if Walker and Crazy Dog were the ones to somehow save her, or if they come back in the story. But that's just my personal wish. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Where was Madison? Are you as excited as I am? I cannot wait. Just a few more hours tonight. I don't get out of work till 11 p.m. and I'll do my usual review, and then I'll talk to you guys then. But I cannot wait. Fear the Walking Dead is back. Madison is back. Hell yes.